Go.
Welcome to Not a Great Whisper podcast. This is your host, Katy Ray. We are on number 2 episode of the pregnancy series, and I have 2 of my favorite pregos right now. We're all, Amanda is here, Sierra from our first episode, and then Marissa. Oh, Moran Hicks. I gotta say the whole thing, even though. So Marissa is due around May
14th.
Yep. And then Amanda's around March, just like I am. So we're all around the same, kind of going through it together and laughing along the way. They're first, my third, which is really weird to say because I feel like it's my first. But we're just going to kind of dig into things that we're going through, expectations we had that, of course, are always washed away. And you're like, what the hell's happening? But we'll welcome, ladies. I'm sorry I didn't welcome you first. Hello.
We're gonna dig in just like my jeans are digging in. When you said
to my love
my
handles.
underwires digging into my left
just
breast.
like my underwire and my bra is digging it. Which underwire is not. It'll hurt your huge boobs. These women in front of me are basically just ginormous boobs in front of me.
It's okay right now, the underwear.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's all right.
It feels great. So let's talk about it. Marissa, you are finishing your first trimester.
Yep.
So you've been super tired.
Very exhausted.
And you have like 100 things you do a day.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm exhausted, but I have insomnia. So my body is physically tired, but my brain doesn't shut off. So, and it's a very weird combination of like, I'm in a weird zone between like 11 p.m. to like 7 a.m. It's just weird.
And you're on your feet all the time.
Yeah, I am. I'm on my feet and I don't move. So it's a weird thing where I get restless leg syndrome where Friday I worked, I did a 8-hour wedding and then I got home and my legs were shaking.
Is that usual though? Or is this not pregnancy?
That's like a pregnancy thing. That's never happened to me. I can be on my feet all damn day and be completely like, let's go. What are we doing now? And now I'm just like, why is my leg twitching?
Does that have anything to do with anything you had to stop prescription wise and stuff?
I don't know. There's a lot that I had to stop. So I think a lot of it is mental for me. I'm just not quite myself.
Your balance.
Yeah, I feel like I'm chemically like all imbalanced, which was the main thing I went to when I went to do. So the first appointment's called the confirmation of pregnancy, and then the second one's what your NOB, the new.
Is it a blood test?
Yeah, no, the first one was, but then the second one was where I did like the full sonogram, the transvaginal, and then I did they did all of that. No, that was the first one. The second one is like where I got to meet the doctor.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they had names, the appointments.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went in at 8 weeks and then I went in at 10 weeks and did everything.
Oh, good. They did like
2 weeks ago. Yeah. So I've done 2 ultrasounds.
Okay.
And did all of that. But the second one was when I got to sit down with the doctor and I lost my shit.
Oh, like crying?
Broke down crying.
Oh,
I was literally so happy because I got to hear the heartbeat. I got to take a pic. Like I did all this stuff and then all of a sudden I sat with her and she was like, how are you feeling? And I was just like,
oh my gosh.
It was bad. Mike looked at me and Mike was just like, which is my husband. Sorry. Sorry, listeners. This random man.
Wait, does he go to all your appointments?
He's gone. There's been 2 and he's gone to both.
Yeah?
And it's I'm no, because I do IVF, so there's like 100,000 appointments.
But
he came to, we had like a scare, so he came to my like high risk ultrasound, but that was it.
Are you planning on Mike going to all your appointments?
As far as Mike knows, he has to be at every appointment. So
okay.
4 weeks, so he can book out at once a month.
I feel like, but don't you want a little bit of intimacy, like alone time with the doctor?
No.
No?
Have you met me?
Marissa doesn't really have no.
Funny fact.
But I've done like that with certain folks.
Right?
I don't know. I've always been open book, and Mike was there for both transvaginal ultrasounds. Then I had to get a pap smear and a breast exam, and he was just like down there in like the war zone.
Oh,
and
really?
The doctor was like, "Do you want to come stand like by her head?" And he was like, "Yeah, whatever." Like he just kept playing his game, like not paying attention. I was like, He was in there for like in it to win it. Yeah,
that's hilarious. Do you want to know that when Jaden's water broke, when I went into the emergency room, they made Chris leave because they weren't sure if he was like my Uber driver or the person that gave. They made him leave, and they had asked me like personal questions, and I was like, "Can he come back in? Like that's the father of the baby." And they're like, "Oh yeah, bring him back in." And I was like,
he can be a little soft spoken. Maybe he didn't like.
Well, I mean, they told him, like, can you please leave? I need to ask her, like, personal, like, HIPAA questions. And, like, if you've had a miscarriage, if you've had an abortion, like, they ask all that, I guess, when they check. But I was just like, oh, can you come back in? Like, what? I don't even understand. I don't know if people, like, bring their Uber drivers in, usually.
I mean, maybe. They made me sign something that like had his name on it, and then I gave him permission when I first got there. So I don't know if that's why they were like, oh.
There's so many things they don't prep you for. This is what they prep you for. Being pregnant, glowing, looking beautiful, magnificent, all that. And then they prep you for holding the baby, crying, and just having this magical moment, and everything's perfect. It's done.
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
That's exactly what happened.
When does this glowing shit start? Because
this is why this podcast is important, because I've had such a hard time finding like a good podcast. There are a couple of good books where they keep it real, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But everything else, it's like rainbows and butterflies. And I really want to know, is it normal that I'm having heartburn 24/7? I drink water, I get heartburn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
but no one talks about
Juliana, though, when it was more like red sauce, but I wasn't stopping Italian food like you can't.
Ew. Who stops?
Nobody stops that. But I get the scares because you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I having heartburn? But it's just the way your body's reacting. It could be Matteo could be really hairy is what people will say.
We're naming him Matteo.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
No, I think I told you, right?
I know, but I didn't know if like the listeners.
No, we're allowed to say. So Alex.
Jasmine.
I like Princess Jasmine.
Oh my gosh, me too.
This is going to start crying.
I know.
I already knew Matteo. I was excited about Matteo.
And I was like, oh, she's going to be Jazzy. And Katie's like, duh, that's why.
It's going to be her name. Jazzy coming in at you.
Why does this
It's not you. It's the hormones.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
just let it happen.
I like that Marissa's not ignoring anybody. She's just crying right now. Like
We should have taken a picture when her makeup's all perfect.
Oh, no,
because I want you to let it out.
That's great.
Actually, it's not running at all. You know the drill.
So I know we're in BKN Creative Studio right now in Ybor, and I know Kevin and Brandon are having so much fun with their studio full of hormones in the back. Shout out to them for putting their headphones on. But you're totally right. It's super important because it's real stuff. I mean, we talked about how breastfeeding does not feel good in the beginning, and nobody really tells you the pain that you're going to feel while they're latching or how hard it is, and not to have mom guilt. But you're going to have it, right? That's just normal. But there's like so many little things that no one wants to give you like the hard picture, where it's like, yes, nobody's taking away from the beautiful thing that you're growing a human. Like no one's taking that away from you, but you got to have like real talk. Like you're not going to feel good some days. Like
and you can be grateful for your pregnancy, but also like we talked about it earlier, we can talk about like being like sucking at being pregnant. At like I look like a beer belly. We talked earlier about it. No one knows I'm pregnant, and I just look like I've had too many tacos.
And she wants people to
and I want people to like at the airport. I don't want people to like cut me off or like run me over with their roller bag because I'm a little slower than I used to be. And no one knows I'm pregnant, but I'm going to start wearing like more form-fitting stuff because, but I'm a curvier girl. Like, although you think we're the same size, I'm a little more
curves. Yeah.
So
totally.
People think it's a little of a beer gut, I think.
Well, because when your boobs go over your belly, it's also just like, oh, you have huge boobs and a belly.
That's where my like big thing is about gaining the weight of pregnancy is that I was so excited when I first had gastric bypass that I was going to lose. My stomach was bigger than my boobs. So then I was like, yeah, man, I'm skinny now. My stomach's smaller than my boobs. And now I'm like, oh, it's going to happen again. And I get like PTSD about it. So that's like a thing that I'm like twitchy eyed, like it's going to pop back out. Son of a bitch.
And not taking away from those super small women who get pregnant and just literally have a belly, but I'm the same way with weight gain because I've fluctuated so much my whole life that you still have like, okay, am I having body issues when I'm pregnant? Yeah, and you are. Yeah. Because like when I put stuff on, my husband Chris has to correct me because I'm like, gosh, I just feel big in this. He's like, but aren't you pregnant? Like, what is wrong?
And thank God he is correcting you because we're not thinking
we're crazy.
Yes.
Like,
we're all three crazy.
So Jennifer, you guys know Jennifer.
Yeah.
She said something to me the other day and it was like the best. She's very truthful. Yeah. And she was like, I was complaining about not fitting in something. And she was like, let me be very clear with you because nobody was clear with me. Girls like me and you are not going to be cute pregnant. She was like, get it through your head now. She was like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever done. She was like, but we are not cute pregnant. And I was like, but my friends, she was like, shut it down. Because I have very teeny friends that look like models. Like from the back, you can't tell they're pregnant. They turn to the side and it's like a cute little like beach ball. I love my girlfriends to death, but they all look like that. So she was like, if you get it through your head now and just be like, oh, it's only 9 months. Like you'll be great. She was like, the way she said it,
why are
the way
my
she
arms
talks.
getting fatter right now? Like, what do the arms have to do with my pregnancy?
Yeah, and don't buy pre-pregnancy weight clothes. Like they
You
say,
did that, didn't you?
people in the comments on like when you read reviews for clothes, they're all like, don't go with a bigger size, go with your no, because I've gained massive thigh weight and massive arm weight. So I can't go with whatever size I was because mine's kind of going everywhere. Do you feel like yours is going everywhere?
Do you read anything about pregnancy legs?
I
don't get.
Oh no.
No, I'm saying like that's something no one ever
What's
brings
happening?
up. I have just learned to read today. I know, but like no one tells you like it's not just your belly. Like I tried to wear like it was so funny too because I like put on this skirt like a pencil skirt that should stretch with you, and like my hips and I don't have a huge ass, but I do, and I'm like I was like, oh wow, like I can't breathe right now, like I legit can't breathe, and this is usually like a very like this is nice. I was like this sucks, but then I like embrace it, yes, and it's going to be for sure the last time I'm pregnant just because I won't do IVF again, but I have to always like readjust and she's totally right because you just have to accept it, like. Yeah. And not all curvier women are going to just have a belly. Like your curves actually get curvier. Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. I don't think it's like horrible, but I can't be in a petite little dress and think like my vagina is not going to fall out of it when I bend over to pick something up, which I have totally done. I wear spandex under everything now because you just don't realize like you're bigger now. Like things get shorter. Yeah. And like you go pick something up and like everyone just saw your asshole and you're just like, sorry.
And it's like a
my back.
pregnant asshole. Like it's not even like the cute asshole you once had. It's like a pregnant asshole.
My asshole's never really been cute, but hey.
That's another podcast episode.
Sorry.
My biggest thing is not even like the weight. The most thing I'm scared the most about is my breasts going back bigger. Because like I have had 2 surgeries to get them smaller. So like that is a huge like fear of mine.
They're definitely gonna get bigger.
No, they've gotten bigger already.
But Marissa, like I feel like what about reminding yourself of the miracle?
Oh,
yes.
No, I'm excited. But wait,
the
about
miracle.
Feeding, that's another thing.
That your body is
not attached?
I'm not. So I've had a reduction in anal lift and they've removed my nipple twice. So I had to sign a waiver, which at 20, I was like, I don't give a shit. I signed a waiver that
so
my glands may not.
Is that what happened?
Yes. So when I went to the doctor, unfortunately, like I asked my OB this and she was just like, unfortunately, I can't tell, you can't tell, nobody can tell until the milk comes. So you will get engorged.
No.
It may not be able to come out until baby cries, it's out. Like, there's no telling. She was like, but you will grow milk no matter what. I have gotten from my clients, one client particularly, mom guilt already because I had told her that. And she was like, you need to still try. And I was like,
I wish she was here earlier.
Bring that back. You might want to try though is because it might hurt. When you get engorged.
I want that feeling. I want to try it, but I also can't go into it.
Oh no, you have to. Yeah, no.
Like
because women horrible to each other sometimes.
Well, it just was one of those things where I'm like, wow, this is what people like mom shame. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And this is like a person who I would consider a friend, and I just was like a little shocked about it because this has happened 2 times. Once about the breastfeeding, which I can't control, and second was because I'm technically high risk. And because of my anemia, they did kind of warn me about like, you may have to have a C-section, like whatever. They're protecting me and the baby, like whatever.
It's to keep people.
You're not going to try to do it natural. I was like,
oh my gosh.
I would love to. I want to feel it. I won't do names, but I will. Like I would love that feeling of like a contraction. But like if it's my safety and the baby safety, like I already have a tummy tuck scar. Like cut me open. I don't care. Bye.
Like you're totally right though. And you're so early on. That you've already and plus you have a very vast number of clients that you deal with today, and everyone's gonna have their opinion. But like, no, the only thing I was thinking had nothing to do with the baby in my head because you don't know if the milk can come out. In my head, I know what engorgement feels like, and when your boob is full and you can't empty it, that's painful for you.
I heard what is that disease called?
Oh, it's
mastitis.
Yeah, it's something when you have a clogged duct.
All I was thinking was just one big old.
But I guess I don't know the sign. Again, not a medical episode. We are not doctors. Even though we're hair doctors. But I'm saying like the engorgement aspect, I've fallen asleep and not woken up to pump, and that small feeling, and I had a clogged duct, but I didn't get the infection. So like that's painful for women, like to unclog it. Yeah. But if it's not connected, I don't know if you'll have a clogged duct. I think it'll just be the engorgement feeling, which is just getting bigger.
So there's just it's the fun game of like we're gonna just wait and see.
You have to. Because you signed something that said you're not sure if it attached back?
No, so what I signed was that I couldn't go, now granted this was 2009, that I can't go back and sue the doctor that like I can't breastfeed my child. It was a way to protect them, which I didn't
for
care.
liability of later.
Yes,
Yeah.
I didn't care back then because I was like, I just want small boobs.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, my back
And
hurts.
like I didn't care about anything else. And then looking back now, I'm like, oh, now I see why
It's
people
okay.
wait till after they're done having kids to have surgery. Like that was that whole thing.
Yeah.
So,
but
I
I
think-
think it is.
I think you made a good point about the formula earlier, though, because sometimes I think I actually was formula fed. I don't know if my mom could breastfeed or if she was just working a lot and couldn't always breastfeed. But
You're going to get your nutrients.
I think that
right?
formula gets such a bad rep. But if sometimes women just can't produce milk. Sometimes they're traveling or something's
So are you
happening.
gonna not feed your kid?
But
Like,
yeah,
what do
there
you-
shouldn't be this like negative
Sort of a stigma.
association with formula. Like,
especially because you don't know how your body, like Jaden was easy for me. Juliana, I was pumping so much more and I couldn't get anything stored where Jaden had like a whole freezer. So like to compare, I kept comparing. I'm like, why is this so hard this time? And it's like, you got to stop. Do small goals if you want to try to breastfeed. Okay. If you can't, and you're literally on a boob schedule and no one tells you, like your whole life gets turned around into when you have to pump, when you have to feed, when you're going to wash a bottle, and you're just some people can't sustain that type of schedule. Like it's just impossible to live like that all the time. But it's amazing how some women can go like 3 years, you're breastfeeding your kid. Okay, you produced a shit ton. Some people produce so much more, they help other kids that are in NICU, which is amazing. And I love that. But it's like, don't put so much pressure on yourself. And it's for someone to make you feel guilty because your nipple might not be attached. It's like, simmer down.
these are two things I physically can't control. And it was and the thing is I only specifically told my clients that were my friends recently. And like that happened. So I was like, wow, like imagine when I tell my my regular clients, I was like, this mom shame thing is real because I hear about them complaining about it, like on these mom Facebook groups and all this stuff. And I'm like, they're mom shaming. Like, what the hell is this? And then now I just had it and I was like, it's starting.
Yeah.
Already.
And everyone always has and it's funny because, you'll hear from our moms or grandmas, like generational. I feel like at my grandma's age, everyone was asleep when they gave birth. It's totally not acceptable to do now, but they don't remember anything because they put them out like they were asleep. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But it's like, guys, medicine's different. Like technology's different. Like there's other way. Like that's why we're able to catch things so early now. Like that's why and it's so funny because it's like, is anybody going to try to mold to our generation of things or are we just going to have to listen to your advice from that time?
I feel like it's our duty to like tell women they can do whatever the fuck they want. I hate that that women are shaming, and some of them, they don't care at all, even if they feel that way, what emotional impact they're having. Because as a pregnant woman, you're emotional and your hormones.
You mind fuck yourself all day.
And they don't even realize they're stressing you out. And it's exactly what they shouldn't be doing. So I feel like we should, as much as possible, tell women, do what they want, do what's right for your body.
Whatever feels good,
Yeah. And if I was formula fed and I was able to get a degree and I can speak full sentences. You know what I mean? Like if our
you don't have a dumb baby.
If our kids,
Listen, I was breastfed and I hate reading, so there you go.
You know what I mean? Like,
just learn how to read.
Why is there such judgment on all this stuff?
I know.
I hate it.
Because people always think everything's a judgment, right? But it's just
go judge your own self.
What's funny is like you have this woman who is either trying or surprised or has this baby and they're excited, and then you're just like, don't do that. Or like we just went as we go. I mean, I heard all the advice. I would try to like block it out, but you do like repeat things in your head. Like you're probably like, like you think about it still. Yeah. And that sucks because you're like, you just wish someone nice would be like, it's okay. Like I know formula fed and breastfed babies. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a look at you. You can't.
You do what you can.
Yeah, you're great.
So I have a question about the generational thing. So I think it's also cultural. Like
100%.
My abuela, like I went to go see her a couple days ago, and I showed her my sonogram, and she told me that the baby's going to be blind if I keep getting sonograms. So she was like, back in Cuba, we didn't do this, and then and I was like,
I've actually heard this before.
Oh, really?
So she's like, I've gone twice to take pictures. And she's like, you have got to stop. Do not take another one. She goes, all of your Theo and your mother, I didn't take any pictures. Like, they're going to go B school, which is blind.
Were they able to do that?
I don't. It just was crazy. Oh, in Cuba, yeah, they're very high.
No, I feel like our parents. Yeah.
I don't know. I just know that she told me specifically to please stop doing all that because of this. And then going back to all like the generational thing, my family I found out the gender on at 10 week, they do the blood test. And my family was like, that's way too early. They're not even developed yet. I'm like, I don't know. My doctor asked me and I said, yeah, but it was so funny because my family was like, it hasn't even grown up yet. Like, how are you, like, what is going on? They're like, back in our day, we did, that's the famous thing. Well, in our day, when we had you, and I'm like,
medicine is so different,
right? And it's I had the same judgment about getting the gender. We were talking about this when I was getting my hair done. Yeah. You literally are getting the blood work for other things, and they're checking the gender. They're not putting a syringe in your stomach or anything crazy. Yes, but that's more for
genetic, spina bifida and neural tubal defects.
Yeah. But literally finding out the gender, they're taking the same amount of, right? We were talking about, they're taking the same amount of blood that they're taking to run tests. And it's not doing anything to the baby. And people are judgy about knowing the gender. Like,
I ended up going to meet the baby to do it because it was cheaper than at my gyno. Oh. But I was expecting it to take like, my friend went through her gyno and it took almost 2 weeks to get her results. And I got my results in 2 days.
Oh. What was it called?
Meet the Baby. It's right by on Hillsborough, right by the Old Babies R Us. Yeah. And you could do the 4D there, you could do everything. And it's like they don't take insurance, so they do welcome everybody. It's all cash. And it was cheap. I think I paid $120.
Oh, that's
cheap. And I got it in 2 days and I was expecting it to
But the baby's not grown yet.
Baby's not grown yet. They're like, it's sorcery. Yeah. They're like, how did you find this out? I'm like, I don't know. If it's offered to me, I'm gonna do it.
And
like,
don't you feel guilty about getting excited early?
Me?
100%. Like everybody, just in general as women, because we're so worried the whole time.
I spent the entire time being worried because...
And when you tell someone, they're like, oh, it's so early. And then you're like, oh, was I not supposed to tell you? Like
Fortunately, in my industry, because I deal with chemicals on people's hair, I'm told very early when people are pregnant because they get the same thing. Okay, so I'm like 1 week pregnant. Can I get my hair done? And like, I have to tell them like 100% what I use Redken. It's safe for babies. Yeah. Go ask your doctor. But like, I'm telling you, it's safe. So because I'm told very early, I also find out, unfortunately, if they've had issues, if they've had a miscarriage. So it's really, I do feel guilty because I know both sides. Yeah. So that was my biggest fear. And I'm still not announcing it till I'm 12 weeks.
Yeah, I know. And this won't launch till after. So
I figured.
But yeah, I think it's just scary. It's just scary in general. When you're carrying, I mean, just everything going on. And people are finally starting to talk about it a little bit more, but not enough because it happens so often. Mm-hmm. So I do think it's an extra worry. And then people are always like judging you if you tell someone too soon. And then you're like, why am I being judged for that? Like, I'm excited. Don't worry about the bulldozer taking out the building behind us. Oh my gosh. I think it's today they have been doing so many construction projects. And then chickens and roosters. But welcome to Ybor.
#Cubans.
I just think it is. And people are always like, oh my gosh, you're so happy throughout your whole pregnancy. I'm a general worrier. Like, I just worry. So, like, on top of also growing a human, and I'm like double the worrier.
I think the three of us are like all very worried. Like,
I've been told to
I feel
chill
like we're good though. But you're not. You're wondering. It's unexpected, right? You don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah. What is that weird feeling in your leg today? Why do I have restless legs? Like, there's certain things that you have to like go through. And you don't want to slow down.
Yeah.
You want to keep your routine. But sometimes, I mean, people say, I mean, you just got to slow down a little bit. Like, it doesn't mean you don't have to work as hard, but you need those days of rest.
Yeah.
Marissa just rolled her eyes at me. Okay. Just cancel that wedding next week and you have to do it.
I just hate when people tell me that just because I know they all mean well, but it's like, I feel like I also shouldn't, this is like super women empowering, but I feel like I shouldn't have to change anything.
You're totally right.
For me and like my career and my life, because my child should, like, I'm so excited for this, but also like, I don't want to lose myself. And myself is a workaholic spastic.
But that doesn't mean you can't handle everything. I'm saying like, listen to your body.
Oh yeah.
Don't ignore it. That's all I'm saying. Don't slow down. You don't have to. You can take on everything.
Your body will tell you.
But I think sometimes you just need to hone in because you have a little human and maybe it's like, hey, ma, don't forget to eat your mojo chicken salad you got, right? You know, that's what it says. It's Italian now.
Yeah, I love
it's
it.
Italian.
I love that.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Maybe Mateo will.
But I did that. I mean, again, I told Amanda I was super worried with Jaden's pregnancy because it was IVF. I didn't know what to expect. What the hell's going on? Juliana, I was a little bit more lax because I was running around with Jaden. So I didn't really notice everything.
But I think also keeping busy is good.
Keeping busy,
right?
100%. Because in the beginning of this pregnancy, I hadn't had my consulting contract yet. Mm-hmm. So I had a little bit more time at home. And I was like, I'm making myself insane. I need to pick up a project or I'm going to make or something like.
In the beginning, before you guys told people, were you avoiding people? Like, I literally was like, I'm sorry, I'm working. I'm sorry, I'm working. And I just sat at home like sad because I was like, I don't want to go out with my friends because the second I don't drink, they're going to be like, what? Are you either sick or you're pregnant? Like,
Yes.
and like I avoided all my family because my family just it's all based around drinking. But it was one of those things where like I literally was home. I wasn't working because I was really sick. And I was just like, oh my God, if I have to do 9 months of this feeling, I'm going to murder somebody.
Yeah. And then I totally ignore people during my hormones too.
Yeah.
And I only tell like a very select if I have to leave early from somewhere. But I know I went to one lunch and they're like, you're not going to get like a happy hour time. And I was like, oh, I was hammered yesterday. I was like trying to get over it. Like I totally lied. Like I was just like,
so easier.
I just woke up. I'm just drunk.
So easy though to just not put yourself in that situation because it's so hard. I remember like screening my mom's calls and my sister's calls because I felt like guilty lying.
Yeah.
And like it's not lying. You can't tell them yet because you are in the first trimester and you worry, you know?
Yeah.
But I felt like such a bad kid. I think I screened my mom's calls for like 3 weeks.
I hope she listens to this. She's super mad at you.
No, and she'll forgive me. She'll forgive me for saying curse words and for screening her calls. And for saying vagina.
No, I get that. I don't like to bring the extra emotion when I do the transfer for IVF. Mm-hmm. And my mom and I are a lot alike with like emotional wise. So like if I told her, she would be like so worried the whole time. And I was like, I can't. So I had to tell her after. I'd do that just to protect her. I mean, that's emotional. But it's different reactions from like everyone. It's just kind of funny. I just think now when you tell people, like you can tell if they really don't give a shit if they care.
That is true.
They don't pretend.
Like
really?
their face just blanks and doesn't give a fuck. There's just,
They're like,
I'm like,
oh,
yeah, I'm
congrats.
pregnant. I've watched somebody go, great, and walked away. And I was like, that's weird.
That's going to be like the guy I'm sitting next to on the plane next week.
Yeah.
Because I need to like tell random people I'm pregnant. I'm gonna start telling people because they don't know.
She wants people to be nicer.
Oh, does that happen? Are people nicer to pregnant
It's
people?
supposed to
Some
happen,
people
right?
Well, yeah, because you do know the saying is you get a sty in your eye if
you
you're
say
mean to
no.
a pregnant or
Is
say
it
no.
mean or say no?
What?
That's
I think.
superstition.
A sty.
I've never heard that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
Definitely
tell
not.
people that.
You can't say no. I was told
maybe
you
it's
can't
no.
tell.
Maybe it's no.
You can't tell a pregnant person no because they'll get a sty. So whatever they ask for,
Is
you
that
can't
why
tell them
you
no.
didn't go to that event when I needed to get my hair done that one time?
Yeah, you can't say no. Wait, what?
I told you it was okay to reschedule and you said no.
You can't say no to a pregnant person. That's what we believe.
Oh, I gave you an out though, but you decided to like do my hair anyways.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice because she didn't want to sty.
She was extra nice. She didn't want
was
this
just looking
dye.
out for her eyes.
I mean, it's all about my eye.
And her
Is that a
baby.
sty
You
in your
can't have
eye?
any more sonograms. So you don't know the gender right now, right?
I will know in 2 days.
Oh my gosh, really?
I'll find out
So
Wednesday.
exciting.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that's
Jesse's
so soon.
surprising me on
This will be after
Jesse
this. Let's have a
Valenti.
follow-up.
Shout out.
Jesse again.
Lifesaver.
Always got a shout out. I just don't do gender reveals. I think they're super cute.
It's just my
ideas,
immediate
though.
family.
Yeah, no, I think it's super cute ideas.
Yeah.
When do you find out if you don't do the early blood test?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
Well, I did this time around. The other ones I just
How
waited for
could
the
you?
ultrasound. I had to because
How could you do that? I'm just totally kidding.
I'm
I
a
was fake
geriatric
pregnancy
patient,
shaming there.
According to when you're close to 35 and you have IVF, it's geriatric. They call you.
I can't
Basically, I'm
believe
a
they use
9-year-old
that.
giving birth. Is what I am.
But you're not even 35 yet.
No, May.
But I can't believe they use that term. Did
Yeah,
you know
use
that?
I mean, it's medical. I think it's a funny term, but it's so funny now because generationally women are getting pregnant later. So like everyone's a geriatric.
Everyone's high risk.
But
Everyone's
I did hear, because I heard high risk for me and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. But literally my client was like, girl, it's the best. They give you you get more pictures of the baby, which will make your baby blind.
First of all, I had one of my friends tell me, that, and I took it as it's a more like reassurance.
Yeah,
because
they just
they do more
better care of
tests.
you.
Yep.
So I was like, oh hell yeah.
like
risk.
they always have these scheduled, and then I know I get what you're saying. That I took it as that too when they said that because I was like, I don't feel like, okay, that's fine. I was first like worried, like I don't like that, but it's fine.
It's just a scary word.
It is.
The word risk being in it is just like, huh?
I know, but
I read up on it and I was like, I hope they consider me high risk so I could get like
more,
the ultra.
more checks.
Because I think I read that.
Why
like,
are you high risk?
I'm not high risk, but I was thinking like at first, because remember I was super worried at first that I went ziplining and all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wasn't careful with my body. I thought maybe they would. And I'm 33, you know, so I didn't know what the cutoff was, but I read like such a high, over 50% sometimes are high risk.
I think it's because you said, Katie, it was like the age.
Yeah,
A
age
lot of
now.
my friends are starting way later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's totally different for them. So they might have to kind of check the books and see if they need to redefine things again. Because, you know, doctors love processes. They're like, no, you got to do this, this, and that. And you're like, it's a little different for me. But it's just, I think their processes are kind of old now.
Yeah.
I
wanted the extra test.
First, like 22, I think.
Yeah.
21.
My mom was 20.
I was dating at that age.
My
I
sister was
under
22 and
probation
had 2
again.
kids and done.
No, I think I got arrested at 21.
Friend.
Oh, sorry. Hashtag
Can you imagine if you're pregnant in jail? Oh, that'd be terrible.
Happens.
Totally happened.
It
Totally happens.
Oh, I was like, all the time, that's horrible.
Wouldn't that be terrible?
You know, man,
Yes,
it's like happy,
that's
beautiful
happened.
world doesn't happen.
Yeah,
But it
I was
does
just like,
happen.
No, I just said, can you imagine like
Oh my God.
if you were
Okay,
pregnant back
imagine your
then?
hormones in a jail with all surrounded by just
Oh,
women.
That's what I was thinking. And the food limitations.
You might catch another charge.
Do they have pickles in jail? Because you need pickles. Do you guys
No,
like pickles?
I don't
Ew.
have pickle cravings. What's up with that?
It helps.
Marissa doesn't like pickles, by the way. You could tell
You
by her
can tell.
You
comment.
don't crave them at all?
I've never in my life liked pickles, and I never want.
I
I
was
love
in-
that jump to jail cells to pickles, but no, and I don't really get weird cravings except like I will have a piece of pizza with you. Like of course, like I want to eat
It's not that
something.
weird,
And
though.
sometimes I have really awkward healthy cravings.
I
Like,
have a
need
craving for
salad
Raisin
in
Bran.
my life.
Really?
Raisin Bran cereals? Oh, I could eat cereal all day.
I used to love salads and I haven't had any salad cravings. You've been having salad cravings?
Yeah, but
I
remember,
envy
it's
it.
not healthy.
That must be a third baby
when
thing.
you
'cause I'm-
douse it in ranch. And I mean to the point where like you literally just have a cheeseburger at this point
That
because it's
is
healthier.
true. Yeah.
Marissa,
put
you
it-
haven't had any cravings? Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
I've actually been craving Mr. Empanada, the spinach and cheese one. That's it. No other
Mm,
empanada.
okay.
It's just something about that.
That's like every day for me.
I order it at least like twice a week.
Oh, yeah.
So is that like a pretend thing, like the ice cream with pickles and like the
Have you
weird
tried
things?
that?
No, but like
She's
everyone
like, no.
talks
No,
about
I do
that.
think women have different like taste. Like sometimes I really want salty foods.
I haven't met
That's
a single
always-
woman that wants like weird combinations, but you read about it. Do you?
Yeah.
Or any of your
I'm trying to
girlfriends have
think if
weird?
I've done weird.
Yes, I'm trying to think of what some of the weird ones have been. It's been random more than weird.
Yeah.
Like Wendy's chili. My mom wanted only Wendy's chili her entire pregnancy with one of the kids. Another kid was.
I hate to call this out, but your mom was super gassy during that pregnancy.
I used to eat Wendy's chili all the
You
time.
imagine like all the good chilies in the world. Like that's the one
Probably
you want.
super gassy.
Mine's potatoes. Like if anything in the form of like any type of potatoes around me, like I have
waffle
to have.
fries, regular
Any-
fries,
yeah.
steak fries.
And why wouldn't you get a load of baked potato?
Chick-fil-A.
Like every day.
Mhm.
Look at us, the fat chicks on the mic.
My check 1 2 1 2.
Oh, it's
First of all,
Sunday, no
in
Chick-fil-A.
Miami though, every break I had where I was like a little hungry, my boss and I, Carlos, would walk to the little cafe and I would get an empanada tequeño or like a pan de bono
croqueta?
thing. Yeah, or
A panda?
pan de bono.
Oh.
A little cheesy breads. They're like flat.
Pan de
edge.
queso?
That's really pan de bono.
I don't. I've never.
No
heard of
say.
it.
Pro bono. I don't know.
No
Anyways,
say.
they were like soft breads, but they had cheese in them.
It's like a
so-
cheese turnover.
Kind of.
Okay.
But so we'd eat those, and they were super yum. But that would be like my little snack. Is that weird?
Have you guys ever had the cheesy bread at the Brazilian steakhouse?
I've never been there. It's like all that meat on a stick.
Most Brazilian steakhouses have it. It's like bread that's like kind of cheesy inside.
Did you hear her say all that meat on
Yeah.
the steak roast? It didn't when he made that baby.
I was just gonna say that.
Ayo.
Now we're getting delirious.
You like some meat.
I haven't slept in 3 days.
Oh my god, Kevin's gonna be so mad at that laugh to have to edit that. So again, weird cravings. I sometimes have pickles on my sandwiches, but I don't just eat them plain.
Oh, I like
Marissa's
have
not
multiple
okay with this.
jars of
It's actually
pickle.
making me nauseous. I hate
Oh,
pickles.
sorry.
No, you're good.
I read that some of these cravings are because your body is lacking a nutrient. So when I crave the P word, I can't say it because it
can
makes
say
you
I'll be
sick.
fine.
Oh, that could be a
Penis?
different P word. Pickles. Pickles. I think my body is craving salt, sodium, right? So pickles are a nice little treat,
I
nice little snack.
And I think this cute little one of my friends was pregnant and like met this doula at one of her crazy technology events, and she was saying how she's like, you know what, this is the time to load up. If you want some carbs, eat some carbs. If you want some, you know, like just give yourself what you're craving because it's just what you want. So sometimes like, I don't know, I keep it like, oh, I try to get oatmeal in because I hear it's good for like milk and stuff like that. But then after that, I'm like, I need a bowl of shitty cereal. Like I need something in my life.
I craved carbs really bad because I did keto for 4 months before I was pregnant. And literally,
bless your soul. Bless your soul doing keto.
The second that I called my doctor and I was like, hi, I took a test and I think I'm pregnant. They asked me about what my dietary thing was. And I was like, keto. They're like, stop it. I bought a pizza 2 minutes later. Like, that thing was at my house in 30 minutes.
All she needed was a doctor's
listen, all I needed was like, oh, I'm sorry, you have to stop it. Oh, Mike, I'm sorry. The doctor said I have to stop. And then he got all mad as he's eating the pizza too. And he's like, I can't believe we have to stop keto. I'm like, you can still keep going. He's like, well, it's here.
I love it. Okay, so anything specific that you want to bring up to the ladies out there living their lives? A little advice for yourself that you've learned in your first trimester?
I mean, I feel like you have a lot of learnings.
I have a lot to learn. I'm still really new to all
we're
this.
We're going to have a bunch of these, so we're just going to chat as we go through.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is just I'm really...
Be supportive.
It's not only that, I'm really trying not to listen to everybody because everybody gives an opinion because I'm stuck in a room with somebody for like 2-3 hours. So like, I know it's coming. Once I announce it, it's coming. So that's my biggest thing is I'm trying to prep myself now to like, whatever my choice is, if it's to do this and do that and eat this or not do this, like it has to be what I want to do. And I'm literally trying to like talk to myself and like boost myself up because as of Thursday, it's coming.
Yeah.
Full force.
Yeah.
Opinions are coming. Coming in hot.
It's coming in real hot.
Get extra sleep that night.
We did expectations last time. Go on.
I mean, I do think that some of the advice has been helpful because, I mean, everyone will teach you something. You're like, really?
Oh, you just opened your mind to like new options. Or
right.
Or...
But that person telling you don't have to take their advice and telling you, wait, I have this, but maybe you won't, you know, like you don't have super bad heartburn. Marissa might not have crazy heartburn.
That's why I super always like set it up like, this is what happened to me. That doesn't mean like this is what I did for it. Because it's like, I'm going to offer it if you want it. I'm not going to tell you this is the way it is because there's zero chance.
What if it's like just, I think the best way to say it is like the absolutes, like the absolutely don't do this or absolutely only do this, where like that's where it's like, I don't mind opinions, but with people like, I guess I don't want to use the word judgment, but when they say something and they're like with the face of like, do not do this or yes, you better do this. That's where I think the problem is.
Like your face with the pickle.
Yes.
Absolutely eat pickles. Just kidding. There are no absolutes. That's outrageous. I really like my one suggestion, my advice. You don't have to take it. No pressure. Expecting Better is a really good book. And it's from a woman who just researched a ton. I think she's an economist or she has a super sophisticated job, but she went through a ton of different studies and she looked at the studies and saw that half of the information out there is one, super outdated, and two, there's so many other factors that weren't considered in these studies. Yeah. And the scary thing was she was looking at these and people had these opinions and she was realizing I'm following all this stuff and such antiquated concepts and things like that. The women in the study that were drinking 2 cups of coffee versus no cups of coffee, those women had healthier children. The person who had a glass of wine a week, for some reason, I know it's crazy, but the statistical data showed that those women had babies with a smaller percentage less birth defect than the women who are cutting it out completely. So I'm not saying there's a correlation with like doing those things while you're pregnant, but I think people need to remember that a lot of the stuff on the internet is just dated.
And no one really looks at it. They're just like, oh, I read this.
Yeah.
But that's what we want. Everyone, do your thing. Keep moving at 100 miles per hour like Marissa is. Do it. Why not? Listen to your bodies, and we'll jump on again, get some feedback from the viewers and see what you guys want to hear. Again, Marissa and Amanda, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
We're at Not a Great Whisper on Instagram, at The Real Cray, Krey. Morty's music will jam you out of this session. And to my lovely ladies, you're beautiful. Bye.